You guys are not going to believe what we have to talk about today when it comes to the future of our Seahawks. Some major behind-the-scenes drama is brewing that promises to shake things up at Lumen Field, bringing some heavy dilemmas regarding beloved veterans and a brutal season opener that will test every single one of us. What happens next could completely change the trajectory of our season. So grab a coffee, smash that like button, and let us get right into the news. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we are pushing for 1,000 subscribers, and your support is everything to help us grow. Our relentless pass rush was the ultimate anchor that carried us all the way to that magical Super Bowl title. The best part about it was that this defense did not rely on just one single superstar to wreck opposing offensive lines. It was an absolute group effort, a true collective identity that the coaching staff fully intends to replicate at all costs for the 2026 season. With Boy Mafe making a painful exit to the Cincinnati Bengals in free agency, John Schneider moved fast and brought in veteran Dante Fowler Jr. to try and fill that massive void. The 12s are still processing the move, but a major question marks the building, making everyone wonder if JS is actually satisfied or if he will hunt for another elite edge rusher before the trade deadline. The rumor mill caught serious fire after a recent piece by fan-sided analyst Jake Beckman. He mapped out ideal post-draft trade targets for every NFL franchise and dropped a total bombshell for Seattle, targeting Yaya Diaby, the young stud from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Beckman made it clear that if the Seahawks want to make a push for Diaby, they have the capital to pull it off. The guy wants a lucrative extension down in Florida. But since the Bucs drafted the promising Reuben Bain Jr., the Tampa front office might feel pretty set at the position. If Seattle puts a high-value draft pick on the table, it is going to be almost impossible for them to say no. Looking at it realistically, management probably will not force the issue right now since Fowler just got here. But the NFL is a war of attrition, and if injuries hit or the rotation slows down, Diaby becomes the perfect target. He posted a solid 72.0 PFF defensive grade last season, racking up an impressive 62 total pressures, 9 sacks, and 43 hurries. Imagine adding that kind of monster to our scheme. Meanwhile, Fowler is focused on giving everything he has, leaning into his deep connection with defensive coordinator Aiden Durd to unlock his absolute best football. He publicly shared his respect for Mike McDonald, saying that being part of this winning culture is incredibly special for his career. And just when we are losing our minds over adding pieces to the trenches, a real bomb drops regarding the future of one of the most respected locker room leaders in Seattle. Building a championship roster requires cold, calculated decisions from the front office, and those choices get even more brutal when you are trying to defend the crown and go back-to-back. Veteran defensive tackle Jarran Reed, a true staple of our recent history, might find himself on the wrong side of the NFL business this summer. Analyst Mo Moton over at Bleacher Report put out a list of the top-cut candidates for every NFL roster, and the choice for the Seahawks was our 33-year-old defensive lineman. Reed is heading into his 11th year in the league, and over the past 2 seasons in Seattle, his snap counts and starts have seen a noticeable dip. Moton makes a sharp, painful point, reminding us that the NFL is a young man's game. With Reed turning 34 during the season, the Seahawks can clear about $3.9 million in cap space if they designate him as a post-June 1st cut. That news hits hard for the faithful, considering number 90 is deeply loved by the community, and seeing him walk would be an emotional blow. On the flip side, the financial and tactical argument makes sense when you remember the front office grabbed young Devin Eastern in the 7th round, a guy John Schneider openly called a physical freak. Reed's declining playing time is just reality. Back in 2023, he played 72% of the defensive snaps, but last year that number plummeted to just 398 snaps over 13 games. With a heavy $7.38 million cap hit scheduled for 2026, keeping a veteran on that kind of money for limited production feels like a luxury we cannot afford. The defense already started phasing Reed out due to the meteoric rise of Byron Murphy, too, who completely took over the interior defensive line. If Schneider pulls the trigger on this cut, the depth will rely heavily on rookies and undrafted guys. If navigating that veteran salary drama is not enough to test the nerves of our coaching staff, Just look at the absolute gauntlet the football gods handed us with the schedule. Mike McDonald and the boys enter 2026 proudly carrying the title of reigning Super Bowl champions, but we all know the past means absolutely nothing in this league. Respect has to be earned yard by yard, and that gets significantly harder when you live in the NFC West, easily the most competitive and dangerous division in football. Bleacher Report analyst Gary Davenport dropped his early season predictions and expects the Seahawks to face a pretty rocky, sluggish start. He noted that no team in our division has an easy path, especially after we sent 3 teams to the postseason last year. Our title defense kicks off at home in an electric Super Bowl rematch against the New England Patriots, followed by a 2-game road trip against teams that should not scare us too much, the Arizona Cardinals and Washington Commanders. But the calm ends quickly because by week 4, things get incredibly real. We face a brutal stretch of 4 games in 5 weeks against teams that made the playoffs last year, along with a home showdown against the dangerous Kansas City Chiefs. Davenport predicts the Seahawks will drop at least 2 games during a chaotic October that includes the Los Angeles Chargers, San Francisco 49ers, Denver Broncos, and Chicago Bears. It is a massive test for a team trying to prove they belong at the top. However, analysts always seem to forget our biggest X factor, which is the hostile, deafening environment of Lumen Field. We were fantastic on the road last year, but the power of the 12s in Seattle is a historical advantage nobody should overlook. 4 of those 5 tough opponents have to travel into our house and face the loudest fans on earth. We hold an incredible 128-66 record since the stadium opened, alongside a dominant 12 and 2 postseason record at home. That energy is going to be the fuel we need to silence the doubters and kickstart another deep run. A championship mindset requires heavy sacrifices, and the next few months will definitely test this fan base. The aggressive talk around the pass rush and the tough decisions on the interior defensive line show that this team is obsessed with evolving, which is exactly what we need for the gauntlet ahead. Lumen Field needs to be rocking louder than ever to push the boys through it. Looking at everything on the table, would you guys rather keep Jara and Reed around or let the young guys run with it? Let me know in the comments, drop a like, and subscribe to the channel.